controls Wesley with black there. And now this game, he starts off with 1c4.
Yeah,
and Wesley
an
looks off to the
anti-Grunfeld
side.
move order.
That's right. And here we go. I think we have the players flip, but it is Bok playing white here, indeed. And we'll get those cams fixed right away. And little weird opening here with e3. I know you hated when you do this, David, at e3 and g3, but yeah, I'm telling you, it happens in a lot of different lines, you know, these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the dream to play this e3 move, but overall, what Bok's position can do is also play d3, explode the whole center. And end up with a very pleasant position with the bishop on g2. It's a tempo up c3 Sicilian for black. I mean, for white, who's playing the Sicilian side or whatever. Compared to being black, it's a tempo up c3 Sicilian, and I would like white's position despite e3 and g3.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those rules we tell beginners to always avoid moving both pawns because your light square bishop can only cover so many squares. But here's a very specific case where eventually Bok will be playing d3, I think extremely likely, and then trading off on e4 and having this target. Because otherwise, if we can imagine black playing knight d7, knight e5, knight to d3, then strategically white would just be absolutely done. So I don't think we can expect that in this game.
Yeah, you'd be regretting e3 at that point. For the moment, I think Bok can castle. He seemed fairly well prepared for this, like queen b6, slightly offbeat move. He played e3 instantly on that. So I think this was something that he was, aware of and ready for up through queen b3. And this is bishop c5, the first move that is outside of, just his repertoire.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, Bok still, I feel like he's in treating this like a rapid time control, right? He's really spending a lot of time on this move. I understand it's a critical moment out of the opening, but yeah, you got to make a move. He plays d3. Big
you're
move.
not allowed to.
Why he spent time on that one.
But you're just not allowed to do that. I recall from when I was doing my Blitz training, you can't think for a minute on a critical tactical move. You just can't. It doesn't matter that much. Like if you go back later, basically, and you check a computer evaluation for D3 and a computer evaluation for castles, and no, I'm not telling, everybody to do that, but just for the sake of argument, if you check the evaluations on these moves, castles or d3 or c takes d5 or even queen b6, you're going to find 4 moves that are within like 0.2 to 0.3 of each other, which just means like it wasn't worth a minute, right? Like you could have played the worst of those 4 moves in 1 second and you would have been better off than playing the best of them in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, just because the clock is super important. Now, the players have increment here. They have this 2-second increment. So that's why we didn't see like Wesley in the first game, like trying to flag his opponent, because 2 seconds is for these guys more than enough time to handle, all kinds of simple end games. But as you get low on time in a complicated position, it's not easy to find good moves with little time on the 2-second increment. And so, yeah, if you get way down on the clock, then you're basically just kind of burning all the bridges for the future. Now, look at the structure. After d takes c4, black is going to go b5 at some point. There's just this like massive constellation of pawns on the queen side. White is going to have 5 versus 3 on the king side. These are my least favorite positions to play, but my favorite to watch.
Okay.
So crazy.
Because I was rooting for this d takes e4 move. I didn't know who it was better for or worse for. I didn't know what move I would play for my game. I didn't know if I was rooting for Benjamin or Wesley, but I was rooting for the crazy d e4 position rather than d takes c4, which is very solid and normal. So at least we can say Benjamin showed some courage and some will to win right there.
Oh, absolutely. But we are now getting a bullet game here. 1 minute for each player. And I mean, practically, I kind of like White's chances, especially this e4 square. You got 94 coming, starts with h3.
Oh,
That
yeah.
also looks very annoying for Black, hitting this bishop.
Push him.
On to e6.
On f5, he'll trade on d4.
Has to take on d4, and he has bishop takes c3 with check. Yeah, to save himself there.
Now, knight e6 is probably undesirable because Black's then got a million pawns on light squares without the light squared bishop and gets a pseudo blockade square on f5. Now, you can never truly blockade a majority like this of White's. You can't stop the avalanche, right? G4, E4, F5. You can't truly stop it, but there's a measure of restraint, right? It's not a convenient way to advance for White. So you will not see White do that. Even the most bloodthirsty bishop pair hound will tell you that in this position, you don't want to take on e6. He takes on e6.
Yeah. Yeah. Even Mr. Bishop pair himself, that the concept was named after, right, would not take on e6. Here we see he did. Bok took on e6. But look, he spent so much time doing it. He's down to under 20 seconds. He's really playing with fire here because this position is still so crazy. But bishop h3. Now he's finally started to speed up. That's good to see.
Black's got an outpost for their knight, but more interested in winning the pawn on a2. I just feel like these positions are just about the activity of the pawn majorities. They're not about the minor pieces in that same kind of way. I mean, even exchanges can be sacrificed if you're the one who activates your majority. So the bishop pair is a smaller consideration than that.
Yeah, it truly is all about the pawns here. Although I think it's going to be more about the clock. And what happened? Draw by agreement.
I don't know. I don't know what's happened. Wesley had like a 30-second to 10-second advantage, right?
They're playing a bullet game now.
Yeah.
So they're going to the third. That was weird. Wesley he almost looked like he offered a draw by accident. He was like surprised when the game was finished. It's weird. But now really Wesley weird. Is back to White, and now they're playing a 1+1 game. Oh boy. And then we have Berlin with this bishop takes c6 structure. This is opening they play at the highest levels these days. So we'll see how well these guys can handle the position in bullet. And very big decision there. Bishop takes b3.
The c takes b3 structure looks pretty blech to White.
I agree. Because now this b pawn, this d pawn is weak for the rest of the game. And knight d7. I like how Bok is playing this so far. Very quick, very natural, putting the rooks on the d file.
Definitely wanting to play knight c5 at some point this game.
And yeah, this way you have to forget about who your opponent is. Wesley So, 10-time US champion, whatever. You just have to forget all that. Realize it's a bullet game. You got 30 seconds on the clock. He's got 30 seconds on the clock. Got to move here, Benjamin. Oh man, he spent a lot of time on knight c5.
Right.
But I think he wants to bring that knight to e6 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he saw that there's like knight d2 and then what's next, but I think sometimes you just wait for the next move to find out what's next from yourself, right? From your future self.
We have GM Hess in the chat. It says, ban the draw offer. He is not
strong words.
Yeah, that could have been an insane time scramble. I'm still confused about. I'm hoping Wesley So wins the whole thing so we can ask him.
What's the reasoning on that? B3 is hanging at the moment. Bok preserves the pawn on b5 first.
Oh man, 10 seconds for Wesley.
Now with the pawn on e5, yeah, it's always going to be winning that pawn back.
And going to the endgame, the position's absolutely blowing up, but now Black has huge knight on d4, tons of pawns on the queen side.
He had bishop g7 to b2 there. Whoa, the trades are coming in fast.
So quick. And rook b4, dude, Bok is in a flow state right now. His bishop is so strong. He knows if he can take this b pawn.
Pawns. He was down 2 pawns for a while.
Oh man.
He's
E4. Oh, he's pushing. Oh, they're just racing now. They don't have time to calculate anything.
Bishop F6.
They're just going. D7. He's got Rook C8 check to promote first.
Okay, so Rook D8. Rook D8's the move. Will he find it with 4 seconds?
This knight on C2.
No, he doesn't.
C1. Rook C3. Oh no, this is not going to work for black. Knight on A1 is too. Knight on C2 is too good.
B3 is a nice hope, but there's Rook A3 for white.
Throws another check. Knight A3. He covers the pawn on a light square. David's all over.
Yeah.
Bok knows that he's going to resign. Unbelievable time scramble. Look at Wesley. So relieved. Dang.
Wow.
Wins and advances to the semifinals.
All right. That's good for you because you'll still get a chance to ask him, why did he go from a 30 to 10 second advantage to a 60 to 60?